There are now only 457 days until E3. Wait, 450? March to June? What is going on here? Well, what's going on, guys and girls, is that E3 2020 was just canceled. They did announce E3 2021, but will it even happen given all of this coronavirus chaos and what the show has become? We don't know, but right now the focus is on Nintendo and E3 2020, which poof is no more. It's a big bummer for everybody, and I'm going to get into the details of why it's not just a bummer for you and I, the gamers, but for the developers and publishers as well. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below how you feel about E3 being canceled. If it's a bummer, if it doesn't matter to you, if you think this is the smart move, I want to hear your take. Also, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are pumped for Nintendo, because they still will soldier on. In fact, Nintendo has been prepping for this basically since 2012. How have they been doing that? Well, we'll get into that in a minute. First, the direct details. This morning, the ESA issued the following statement. After careful consultation with our member companies regarding the health and safety of everyone in our industry, our fans, our employees, our exhibitors, and our longtime E3 partners, we have made the difficult decision to cancel E3 2020, scheduled for June 9th through 11th in Los Angeles. And just like that, Christmas for gamers is gone. The show will be skipping out for the first time ever, and while they say they are looking to coordinate an online experience to showcase industry announcements and news in June 2020, there are no specific details. So what exactly that means, how many companies are featured, how it's distributed, will they charge for it, what all will it entail, we don't know. But it's safe to say right now there is a lot of impact here. Not only will I not be going to E3, nor will Giant Bomb or GameXplain or IGN, nor will a lot of fans since it's recently open to the public, nor will Nintendo or Ubisoft or a number of indie developers. This will really impact the smaller companies more than the bigger companies. And I wanted to give you guys a couple quotes that I saw on Twitter, and it's really interesting, and it kind of actually really lends its way to Nintendo being so important in 2020 and what they do coming up being so critical for the industry. Mike Bithell, a very well-known indie developer of games like Thomas Was Alone, the impact of a year without GDC and E3 in terms of projects unsigned and deals undone is going to last for years. It's largely invisible influence, but I don't know of many devs above a certain budget level that this hasn't had any effect on. And you have Jason Schreier saying most people only think of E3 as press conferences, but those will be easily replicated. The repercussions will come from the deals that don't happen, the indie pitches and biz lunches and chance meetings that can save companies. E3's cancellation could really hurt some people, and this is the secret side, the more underreported hidden side of E3 being canceled. It's not just about us not getting to see our favorite trailers or get our hands on the next-gen consoles or getting to walk around a wonderful world that Nintendo builds in their booth. It's about these smaller companies that are going to significantly struggle without the opportunity to showcase their project. But Nintendo, as I mentioned, has been prepping for this for a long time. In fact, their last in-person big showroom press conference was in 2012. They have been working on a digital way to convey their information ever since, and they've done so with their June E3 Directs. This year was going to be no different. There would be a June E3 Direct, and I fully expect Nintendo to carry on and still deliver a quote-unquote E3 Direct. It just won't be the E3 Direct. It'll be the Summer Games Showcase. It'll be the June Spectacular. It'll be the what's really exciting in Nintendo. Come check out our Direct. I expect their plans to stay the same. And it's very interesting that of all companies, Nintendo, who is often accused of being behind the eight ball, of being behind the times, is actually the best suited and the best prepared to handle this coronavirus cancellation chaos. They are the ones who have year out and year in done directs, done digital presentations, spoken directly to their fans, made so many announcements on the internet. Now, I know right now we're really waiting for a direct, and so it kind of seems like they've forgotten some of their ways, but I promise they are coming, and we will get one this summer as well. Maybe they'll move the date around. Maybe it won't fall directly in June. It'll be interesting to see, because Phil Spencer came on Twitter this morning and said, hey, Microsoft is going to be doing a digital showcase. Ubisoft said they're exploring a digital showcase. Obviously, as I mentioned, ESA says they're looking at doing an online E3. So will they all be the same week? Will they coordinate and work together to have it be one show after another, like the normal E3 experience? Or will they spread them out so there's enough mind share and enough articles and enough time and people to go around? I'm not so sure. But let's look at another aspect of Nintendo and how they are very critical to the fallout from this cancellation. The Indie World presentations are key. You think about these companies that aren't able to get the word out anymore, aren't able to secure deals, aren't able to really carry their game from thought process and small budget to maybe some important funding and making it a reality. Well, Nintendo and their efforts with the indie space and the indie community now is even under more of a spotlight. And showcases like Indie World are even more important to really help get the word out to the world for these smaller developers, these smaller publishers, these smaller titles. So when you hear word that maybe an indie direct is what's coming next, not a general direct, it's actually a really cool thing. Now, we'll talk about that in a video later today because there are some interesting rumors about what's happening first, when the directs are coming, when we're going to get more information from Nintendo. But I just love knowing that Nintendo are really, really being able to deliver for these companies, the struggling companies, and not all of them, not in all the ways. They talk about there's sometimes where you just run into the right person at the right time at E3 and it helps secure funding or it helps take your game from concept to reality, and that won't happen. But Nintendo and their outreach efforts for the eShop have been remarkable this generation. That's been documented. Nintendo goes out of their way to really cultivate and champion the indie space. And it's been rewarding for them. Look at how successful the eShop has been, and the Switch as a whole is known as the go-to spot for some of the most awesome indies and such a wide plethora of different types of indies. And that will only continue. And Indie World, I think, is more important than ever before, given there won't be an E3. And Nintendo Directs are more important than ever before, given that there won't be an E3. It's going to be very interesting to see if E3 can rebound. I'm sad that we won't get the Nintendo booth. Honestly, I think that's the biggest way that Nintendo loses out here. Their booths are remarkable. Their booths are the best. Whether it's delivering the Mario Odyssey, New Donk City, whether it's delivering like the Animal Crossing Village they did at PAX East just a few weeks ago, whether it's delivering a Smash Bros. Palooza like they did when that game was about to launch, the Pokemon Stadium we saw last year, the Luigi's Mansion we saw last year, they come and do everything to the tens. They know how to deliver an real world experience that simulates their games brought to life. Now, I'm curious how this is going to impact Nintendo going forward for Super Nintendo World over in Japan at Universal Studios. Will they even be able to open and launch that park this year? Will the Olympics even take place, given all of the coronavirus difficulties and issues and cancellations and delays? I do not know. So Nintendo may be put on hold for a while in terms of bringing their characters and properties to life. But at the end of the day, health and safety are of the utmost importance. And you know that the big games like the Cyberpunks and the Assassin's Creeds and whatever Nintendo has for this fall are going to be fine. But smaller games will probably be affected. We've already seen some ports being pushed back like the Outer Worlds, and I'm sure there are more and will continue to be more. Hardware-wise, I fully believe that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will still come out, limited quantities. We've seen that the coronavirus has caused some issues with the Animal Crossing Switch, but it still seems like for the most part that is going to release and people will be able to get their hands on it. I don't know if Nintendo has any bundles or packages prepped for later this year, this fall, and we'll have to wait and see on those. But to me, the bigger concern is what kind of E3 will Nintendo be able to return to in 2021? And will they even have the opportunity to deliver their big, bold booth that we've all come to know and love? Yes, the ESA says they are planning on E3 2021 and having it again, but we already know that this year's show was going to be borderline dire. So many companies were pulling out, so many companies were removing themselves, Sony wasn't going to show up again, and it was going to be a very slim show. Still with lots of good stuff, Nintendo obviously still putting forth their best effort, but it was going to be a different show, one that's been on the decline for years. And now with the show not taking place and no one going to the LA Convention Center in 2020, will that be sort of the straw that broke the camel's back and tipped the scales towards hardly anyone wanting to sign up for E3 2021. And even the ESA may struggle with it. I bring you this tweet from Ian Bogost, who says the Electronic Software Association, the game industry's trade and lobbying organization that runs E3, the trade show comprises 48% of its revenue. 48% of its revenue. So they're getting nearly half of their money from E3, and now E3 isn't going to happen. So will that organization even be able to survive into 2021? What will they have to do? What cuts will they make? And how will E3 take shape with already so many companies pulling out, already so many companies withdrawing and not wanting to be a part of the show, doing their own thing? Now they're forced to do their own thing. Now companies like Ubisoft are forced to do an online presentation. Now companies like Warner Brothers, if they want to get the word out about their new Batman, have to do something direct to fans. And maybe they'll find out, like Nintendo, that they prefer the direct to fans method, that they prefer the online method, that they prefer having total control of their own showcase whenever they want, maybe multiple times a year, maybe one time a year. They're going to have to put the work in. I expect to see a lot of presentations that kind of make us giggle because they're going to be first tries, first attempts. They're not going to have the tenure and the experience of Nintendo Direct, which have basically worked themselves into a wonderful machine. Those things just come out and they hit the game after game after game, and they look pretty and they're done well, and they don't come across as too corny. They deliver the information, and they, for the most part, are really fun. I expect there to be some shows that just, they missed the mark. It's the first try, but these companies are going to put resources and time into trying that, which means they've already started that engine, and maybe they'll just carry that forward into 2021 and beyond if they find it fruitful and they think it's beneficial and they think it's cheaper, because honestly, it's probably cheaper to pay some people to build out your video package and make a online presentation than it is to go to a huge show, have a whole booth, set that up, hire all the people to help, make a in-person press conference at a big theater, rent the space. All of that stuff is expensive. So will Nintendo even be able to bring a booth to 2021? If Breath of the Wild 2 happens to be 2021's title, or Metroid Prime 4, we could be looking at a phenomenal booth next year that has another World of Hyrule, or maybe it has a Metroid Prime 4 planet. It could be absolutely insane. And I'm sad to say that we honestly might not see it. We'll have to wait and see on that front. But right now, know that Nintendo is going to be good. Know that their plans will continue. Know that they will still have their Summer Direct, and know that of all the companies, they're the ones that are most able to handle this. And I really, really want to hammer home that the indie world, even though it's not as cool as a general direct, it's really important now. So if the indie world does happen before the direct, like the rumors seem to indicate, champion it, cheer for it. These companies sound like they sure are going to need our help. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your take in the comments down below. How do you feel about E3 being canceled? Do you agree that Nintendo is the most prepped for this? And are you excited to see some of the goofy presentations that the other publishers put out as their first run attempts at an online direct style showcase? Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are pumped for Nintendo to, for once, be the top dog. I mean, they're obviously top dog with Switch sales, but a lot of people regard them as a behind the times company, and now they're ahead of the times by like 7 or 8 years, which is pretty freaking cool. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Until next time, Switch Force out.